Great. Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in crypto and bring on a bite-sized pieces. Today, just as the thumbnail and title suggests, Facebook, or now it's called Meta, has teamed up with Coinbase and Block. I'm going to tell you exactly what they're doing and how I think it's just one of those days where you just have nothing but good news, but doesn't really reflect the market. So first, we'll talk about market and on-chain data. Then we'll get into that Meta and Coinbase and Block team-up. Also, we're going to take a look at how FTX raises a ton more money and how the CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried, has donated to Presidente Joe Biden. I think it's interesting that he's done that and given to a bunch of senators and what that could mean. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at how the SEC just approved today the first blockchain-powered security token exchange. And it kind of goes against what they were doing recently, but we'll see how it all goes. And lastly, we'll just take a look at, do a little Q&A at the very end. So before we get into all that, let's take a look at a little on-chain data just to see exactly what we have going on. So today, or excuse me, just a little bit of the market itself. So today it is January 31st, 4:30 p.m. It's been a busy day so far. I've already done interviews with Meld CEO, Ken Oling, and also did another interview with CEO of Voyager, Steve Ehrlich. And those interviews will be out either tonight or tomorrow. Depends on what's going on. Right now it's 4:30 p.m. Puerto Rico time. So I'll see what I can get into that. But both of those interviews, Steve from Voyager and Ken from Meld, just great stuff about what's happening and a lot of, I think, hopefully answer some unanswered questions. So this is what we have today for the market. It's a pretty good day. I'll be honest with you. We've been seeing a slide kind of going teeter-tottering back and forth, but looking pretty good. Bitcoin 2% up. Ethereum's up 4%. And then what I always like to look at is a 7-day, average, or just a 7-day of seeing how they've gone. Everything's up pretty well, except for Luna. Terra just had a huge, massive slide. Remember, it had a big run up. So the faster things have these massive run ups, the faster they do that, the more they drop down. And you can see with Terra, it was all the way up to, I want to say like right below $100. And now here they are at around 50. So just remember that nothing will go up forever. But today, take the win. Look, there's a lot of good projects that are in the green, and that can make you feel a little more comfortable, especially with all the uncertainty that is going on. Man, look at that. FTX token up 7.5%. I'll tell you why in a second. 7.7, 16% for Decentraland, probably because of this thing we're going to talk about. Sandbox, again, metaverse plays. When you see things that are going on with what was called Facebook and Meta, and they make news, then usually the metaverse plays start to go up. Well, I can't say that. Let me look at, Axie Infinity's played around it as an account, 6.9 and so on and so forth. Now let's take a look real quick at some on-chain analysis, because I like to see where things are going, and to help us with that, there's a couple different factors I use. And this is from Crypto Quant. There's a link in the description if you want to check them out. And I use these every day just to see where things are going. And if we want to take a look here, the thing that I'm always looking at is, are the miners selling? Because if they sell off massively, sometimes the price will go down unless they're moving away from Russia, from China. But like right here, you can see it kind of like right here, and then drops way down. Then right here, it hasn't really sold too much, and then it drops, but they're still not selling. So that's pretty good news, I think, for me. Also, exchange reserves, as far as like, are people putting Bitcoin back onto the exchange so they can sell a bunch? Well, no, it's actually extremely flat if you look at it that way. Ethereum, and you can just see with Ethereum, it just keeps going down, and this purple line down and down and down. I think people are snatching up Ethereum because they have to pay for all those ridiculous gas fees. But if you want to buy NFTs and things like that, you're going to need Ethereum. So that's a utility in play. Take or buy volume, people are just buying it up as it kind of comes down here. And once it hit this one, 36, 35, got snatched up as more people come on in. But this is the one that always concerns me. And it's how I gauge things to look at it. I just don't think the bottom is truly in. I could be wrong, but this is the estimated leverage ratio. And what this is the exchange's open interest divided by their coin reserve, which shows how much leverage. Anything above 0.2 is extremely high. And once you get to that point, usually you see like a big, usually people get wrecked. And that's what's happening here. Once it goes down, usually prices goes up. And I got to tell you, right around here, 25th November, when it was all-time high, people were super leveraged at 0.206. And of course, it dropped down and people got wrecked. I think it was one of the biggest liquidations. And now we're still up here. We're still up here. People are still playing around with leverage. And I'm not here to tell you what to do any way, shape, or form. But I just got to tell you, someone's going to lose out. It's either the people who are going long or people who are going short. You can make a lot of money either way. That's not investment advice. So that's the truth. That's people will make money either way, or will make money in one way. Either the shorts are going to be right or the longs are going to be right. But one of you is getting liquidated, and it's going to be a lot of you. So good luck to whoever. So that's what we got for little on-chain data to take a look at things. Not so bad. Just those leverage plays really concern me. Now let's take a look at the big story. And this was, when I came across this, I was like, that's pretty interesting. I didn't expect this to actually happen, but hey, here we are. So Meta joins Crypto Open Patience Alliance alongside Coinbase and Blocks. Why is it such a big deal? I'll tell you why it's a big deal, because finally, well, you be the judge. Here's what we got. So the social media platform, Meta, joined the board of the Crypto Open Patent Alliance. So all the patents that are out there for blockchain technology, they all get together and say, hey, actually, before I do this, let me just tell you what they are. COPA's goals, the Patent Alliance goals, over time are to double down on minimizing intellectual property risk in crypto and create more patent protection for our members. So what this is doing is Meta, or Facebook, who had a lot of money and a lot of time, they put out a lot of different resources into patenting their technology that they want to do with crypto, with Diem and whatever else. And by the way, Diem is completely off the range. They've already sold Diem off $200 million worth to a California bank. So that's a null and void project. So these patents that they get together, they go, look, we put a lot of money into this, but let's just make it open source. Let's just make it sure that everybody can use it. And that's good for the long run. So what this says, working on a pool. Okay. COPA working to assemble a pool of crypto patents that all members can use in an effort to encourage innovation. And this is a quote from Max Sills. He's a general manager at COPA. He says, Meta joining COPA means crypto is not a niche. I think we all knew that. It's a technology that will be depended on by every industry. Through COPA, Meta pledged to not enforce its core crypto patents, and they had a ton of them, against any individual or company except for defensive reasons. You can read that any way you want to. I'm just happy a little bit that they're actually here. This effectively makes its patents freely available for all to use. Some of those patents include Meta's technology that enabled the creation, mining, storage, transmission, settlement, integrity, or security of crypto. The nonprofit was founded by Block, which was formerly Square, and now they're getting more into blockchain technology, and consists of over 30 members, including this little company called MicroStrategy, Kraken, Uniswap, Chaincode Labs, and OKCoin. And again, lastly, here's how it works. Members pool their crypto patents together to form what the organization called a shared patent library. Any member is then free to use the technology behind a patent. And that's the big story. So I think it's just interesting that you've got Meta coming out and saying, you know what, we want to join this organization. We want to freely give our patents, and we want to actually be a part of this new prospect of what's happening, especially with the metaverse and blockchain technology, crypto, and digital assets. So this is a step in the right direction. And then as we go into our last story, which is the security token approved by the SEC, you can see our regulations really coming in full force. So let me know what you think about that in the comments section. Let's move on to our next piece. FTX raised, it's now valued at $32 billion after their third fundraiser. So FTX, that's Sam Bankman-Fried. And he's a 28 or 29-year-old multi-billionaire. Good for that guy. It's pretty amazing, honestly. But this is what the story all talks about. The crypto derivative exchanges has raised a fresh $400 million with the Series C round, raising the company's valuation to $32 billion, marking FTX's third raise in the last 6 months. FTX's user base has grown 60% since the October raise. Its average daily trading volume increased by 40%, reaching roughly 14 billion in daily volume. Why is this so important? Actually, I should probably show you the article I'm reading. Sorry. So this right here, 32 billion. It's important because the more money that you have, obviously the more resources you can pool and the more developers that you can get, and the more marketing that you can have, and the more share of the market that you can actually gobble up. And that's pretty important. FTX to me, I mean, I've heard about Sam Bankman-Fried. I know that it's a multi-billion-dollar company. It sounds very good, but it really didn't stick into me about the volume until I was talking to Steve Ehrlich today, the CEO of Voyager. We're doing an interview, and he was talking to me about volume. And he was saying that, volume has actually decreased as the market has decreased because people don't want to buy. And I say, well, that's kind of weird because this is when all the millionaires are made. And he said, yeah, I agree. But he did give me a little insight into this website called Nomics, say it how you want to say it. And it'll tell you all the volume by each exchange that's going on. And you can see everything's ranked, 1 through whatever else. I don't really care about that because you got number of trades. That's just trades. And then the percentage. What I want to take a look at is volume. And if I sort this by the most to the least, Binance is far and away number 1. Well, it's pretty far. Then OKX, 19.2. But look at FTX, 11 billion in volume. Number of trades, 6.7 million. Percentage of trades is 9%. So it's pretty heavy. I mean, if you really look at that. And then you got Huobi, Bybit, Crypto. Look at Coinbase. Coinbase is 3.2 billion as far as the volume. So FTX is coming up fast. So why is that important? Why? I mean, that's great. That's great data, Rob. But who really cares? There's two things. First of all, Sam Bankman-Fried is heavy into Solana. Really loves it. So if you believe about companies and the marketing, things like that, might be something to look out for. And then also, one thing that struck me is interesting is that this is an article on October 21st, and it talks about Sam and how much he actually donated to Biden. And this was just a little quick snippet. And again, this is in October 2021. He said, last year at age 28, crypto billionaire SBF made waves by shelling out $5 million to a super PAC supporting Joe Biden, making him one of the biggest backers of America's future president. Let me say that one more time. $5 million, super PAC, President Joe Biden, biggest backers of the America's future president. What kind of sway do you have? I mean, it's 5 million, like it's like 5 billion, but it's a lot of money. How much sway do you think this guy might have in those circles? Just asking. Could be a little bit. But now what's more interesting is that he's playing on other sides, which, of course, in the United States, that's President Joe Biden now, and he is a Democrat. But look what else he's done. Since July, Bankman-Fried has made $1,500 worth of contributions, the maximum individuals directly to congressional campaigns, to the committees of Bill Cassidy, Republican, Susan Collins, Republican, Lisa Murkowski, Republican, Ben Sass, Republican, Mitt Romney, Republican, and Richard Burr. So if you're looking at who might have a little bit of sway in the politics of where things go and maybe a little bit of regulation, there's your guy right there. Now, I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments section, but that's what we got. And I think it's just interesting that they've raised that much money and that pretty well, but it is what it is. So also, there is this exchange and wallet fee. It is a accessible spreadsheet. There is a link in the description. It looks just like this. And if you click on there, I added on FTX. I've used FTX US for a little while. Doesn't have a ton of different cryptos, but if you're a international user, you can use a ton of them. And there's an affiliate link. You don't have to use the affiliate link, but if you do, you get like, I think it's like, for this one, it's like 5% discount. And I've also got Voyager, Celsius, Kraken, Uniswap, everything. And then these are the ones that I recommend and don't recommend. Like there's just some I just don't use, so I can't recommend them. So check those out in the description, which I have right there. Let's move on to our last piece, which I thought was a little crazy. The SEC approves the first national blockchain-powered security token exchange. Think about that for a second. The SEC, who is riding all of the different crypto projects like a horse ragged, is like, yeah, let's we can approve this. Let's break this down. Because when I saw this, I'm like, how does this work for what we're trying to do? And I think it's going to have repercussions down the line. So here's what we got. There was a joint venture between the Boston Exchange, Boston Options Exchange, or BOX, and crypto tokenization firm T0. They've been granted regulatory approval to operate a bourse, which is an exchange for securities, a place that you can buy and sell securities and other different financial instruments, utilizing blockchain tech for its settlements and market data. The SEC gave the nod to the Boston Security Token Exchange, BSTX, for its market data blockchain product. The March towards approval from the regulator stretches back more than 2 years following BOX's amended filing in January 2020 to use an omnibus entry based on the Ethereum blockchain. So look, I know some people have recently been calling Ethereum a scam, like they have for a while, but I think Ethereum has its use cases. So let's break this down even further. Because when I read this, I'm like, what the heck? I still don't get it. So I'm like, what does this place do? So if you go to bstx.com, I actually included this link in the description. You can check it out yourself. But it's just bstx.com. And look at the FAQ. Let me blow this up so you can see it. The thing I'm asking myself is, why do they need to do this? There's Chloe. Hold on real quick. Come on. Sorry. Gotta let somebody in. Okay. Why does the industry need a new exchange? This is what they say. The current system is far too difficult to navigate and often too expensive, which does not lend itself to smaller companies seeking investors. BSTX is creating a path for companies to publicly list their shares that is less convoluted and with less friction. So I'm like, okay, I still don't get it. Why do we need this? So if you go down here, how will BSTX utilize blockchain tech? BSTX proposes that certain order and execution information related to trading activity on BSTX would be recorded by a private, permission-based blockchain based on Ethereum, or built on Ethereum, permission-based, accessible through an app program interface available from the internet, which is the market data blockchain. The BSTX market data blockchain captures trading activity that occurs on BSTX in the normal course of business and is made available to the participants and non-participants, in addition to resources that may choose to use at their discretion. So when I'm reading this, I'm thinking to myself, you know, if you really look at it like that, maybe this is something like a stepping stone, because the SEC just shot down another ETF because they're like, well, there's not enough transparency and we're trying to protect the consumer. And I was looking at this, I'm like, you know, maybe if they start with this and they can just see how transparent the blockchain is, especially permission-based, they can go, oh, well, you know, because there's so much data that's available to us, maybe they might change their mind. Now, this is just my opinion of what potentially could happen, but I believe this is a step in the right direction. So if we look at everything that today, you know, Facebook or Meta joining up the Open Patent Alliance with other different blockchain companies or crypto companies, that's good. Then you got, you know, Sam Bankman-Fried and his FTX getting a huge valuation, and he is the guy that's been giving a ton to, already gave to Joe Biden. Then of course we just have this national blockchain-powered security token exchange, which just approved. I mean, look, it's looking pretty good. But again, this is just, I think, just this tip of the iceberg, and hopefully we can start to move things in the right direction. There was a little bit of a turnaround today, but again, there's a lot of factors to take a look at. Macroeconomics, if we take a look at, you know, what the Fed's going to do by March, how the economy is going to recover or not recover, and GDP and inflation, is it really transitory? It's not. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Anyhow, that's what we have for today. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Let's do a quick Q&A and see where we're at. All right. I don't know about this one. Well, thanks. It's not a ton. The things that I see, it just makes sense to me. It could go a lot of different ways, though. You have to understand, just because, like that middle story with FTX, just because they donate to the president as the biggest doesn't mean anything as time goes on. I mean, really, business is a funny thing. First question: when and where is the next PR meetup? We just had one Wednesday at San Juan Smokehouse. It was great. A lot of great people I met. Fantastic. I will have one in another, not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. Okay. Christian, thank you. Good video. If I were to do an investment into iTrust Roth today, when is the earliest I can pull my investment out without being taxed? There's a couple different ways to go about this. First of all, I'm not a financial advisor, so seek that one out. As I understand it, first of all, U.S. resident. Two different ones. When you're 59 and a half years old, or if you claim early retirement. Now, how does that all work? My best advice is to sit down with the gents over there at iTrust. That's exactly what I did, because I had a ton of questions and I didn't understand anything about Roth IRAs or traditional or SEPs. So book a time with them, 30 minutes, and then they'll answer all your questions and you can get with that. That's how it goes. I will say this. Even me in Puerto Rico, there are no capital gains tax, but there's rumblings of Act 60 being axed out. So I still contribute to this Roth IRA because you never know. And I think it's worth it because you don't want to pay taxes. Let's say Bitcoin goes to 200,000, right? Do you want to pay the taxes on that or just stick it in a Roth IRA? When we come in Italy for holidays, I might be in London soon enough. I'm not for sure. How about getting Lynn on the show from here? Sure. She wants to come on. I got so we just got the new desk and we got 2 tables and more lighting in here, which isn't that great. But the whole idea is to have a setup for in-studio interviews, which we'll do here. So if you got anybody who's around here and like to be in Puerto Rico and interviewed right here, I'd love to have them. Oh, great question. How about a good tax app? CryptoTrader.tax. Link in the description, get 20% off. That's the one I've used for 2 years straight. I still got to use it because I just moved here in April, so I still got to have capital gains tax, just how it is. So the time that there's a link in the description for CryptoTrader. There's a walkthrough video I did, of course, the link, but the time that I got it, set it up and sent it to my CPA, it took me 30 minutes. Get Michael Saylor? No. Michael Saylor is great for Bitcoin, but he is not good for the way that we do things on the show. He's so loquacious. He's so talkative, and they're great answers, but they're long. That's right. So Dennis says, when Steve Ehrlich did the interview 3 hours ago, I'll edit it and have it up maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But we went over a lot, especially about the burn, the loyalty program. We did it. What I did with Steve was he already answered a ton of these questions. And I just pulled the information from DJ Crypto, buy the dip, sell the tip. And I just said, we've already answered these. Let's dig into this part. So that's what I did. Justin, thank you. Question, would you rather invest more money into Algorand right now on a discount or Sunday Swap? Whew, that's a good one. So Algorand, I would probably put my money in Algorand. Algorand, that team, and I always butcher this guy's name. The gentleman who won the Turing Award for mathematics, Macari or Maikari, I forgot. But that guy is a genius, and he's been in the cryptography space since the early 80s. And he's one of the ones that, like I said, Anthony Scaramucci was on the show, and he said his hedge fund invested $250 million into Algorand. He thinks it's the next Google. And I said, well, how'd you do that? Just do a quick deep dive. He's like, no, we spent 6 months with the team. I was like, wow. So Algorand, pretty big. And from what I've seen, looks pretty great. Very stable. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Do your own research. Silva McCauley. McCauley. Metro Boli says, are you DCing into Voyager? I am not DCing into Voyager. I DCA'd a ton throughout the whole year. And I've already hit that top tier, whatever it's called, the Voyager level, I guess. And right now, I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm buying Ethereum because I have to. I'm buying Cardano, I get, Solana, Algorand, Avalanche, something else. I forgot. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. Because I think right now, like I stopped DCing for a while because I was worried about the market, but I just feel like now it might crash and go way down, but it's going to come back at some point. So this is a pretty good day to get a lot of discounted stuff. Over time, it'll work out. Good question. And we'll take 2 more. Have you looked into Celsius X and Chainlink partnership? Would you know any info what all that is about, such as how wrap chains are work? If you wrap ETH, do you pay tax on the exchange? First of all, anytime you wrap anything, you don't pay any taxes on that. It's when you sell that product, and if it has gone up, then you pay tax on it. If it has gone down, you take a loss, and you can claim that on your taxes to reduce your overall tax, what you owe. So Celsius X, you're talking about their DeFi project, I believe. I don't even think it's been released. I could be wrong, checking in the comments section, but I think one of the biggest things they just released was swaps, which even I don't have access to that. Other people do. I hear it's great. They can do swaps for like no fee. Pretty awesome. And then this next one is the DeFi thing. So we'll see how it goes, but I don't know much about it. No Luna? No Luna. I have Luna. I just didn't add any more. Although I should, because it's down so much. But so Baynard, this will be the last question. I got to get out of here. So Baynard has a good question. Are big institutions good or bad for the space? Institutions that, of course, hold for a long time, like a MicroStrategy, those are great for the space. We want institutions to come in and hold and treat crypto like we treat crypto, which is like a risk-off asset, and maybe like as a hedge, and will go up. Now, you don't have to treat it like that. I'm saying that's how I see it. Not all crypto, obviously not, but Bitcoin in particular. But there's a dichotomy between the institutions and, say, the hedge funds. The hedge funds will always be here to make a ton of money. You have to understand that. That is their main purpose, and to keep their customers happy. So just know, like, hedge funds, they're not here to like be here for a long. They're here mostly just to buy, make a ton of profits, sell. Everybody's happy. Hey, we beat the S&P. We're one of the only 4 that has done that, and then off they go. But the institutions, like we said, like MicroStrategy and other ones that are out there, we'd like to see more of that, but who knows if they come around. And that's it for today. So look, again, I'll release that video with Steve and Ken from Meld later tonight or maybe tomorrow, but that's all I have for today. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything's time sensitive, all that great stuff. And I'll see you on the next one.